first thing that happens when possibility arrives is there's conflict from without. I see the environment around me, challenges rising up, and that causes a conflict within. And that's where the battle's fought. Can I do this? Do I have the time? Do I want to take the time, frankly? Am I going to talk to people about kids who don't have clean water? I'm taking a team to climb Mount Kilimanjaro this summer to fundraise for what you saw in Alex Boylan's video, which is microfinancing and businesses and gift catalog stuff. But look, none of that stuff happens, guys, until you've accomplished your mission. Till there's clean water, you can't do any of that other stuff. The struggle is for clean water. The question inside is, do I care enough about this to overcome the conflict without? And if you give in to the conflict within, what happens is past voices start showing up in your present fire. Do you know what I'm talking about? Drama and fire happens, and all those voices that God has given you like help with in the past, they start coming back. See, I told you, you can't do this. You're going to lose. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And you got to fight that, because if you don't fight it, you lose vision and the hope of God's glory. And the hope of God's glory sounds so religious. Listen to me. God's glory, all that is the full potential of God's love showing up literally in your life. That is happening in this room right now. That's going to happen. Guys, largest charity team ever in LA Marathon history by 8. Can you explain that to me? Because I can't explain it to you. That is an amazing thing. But this is where it lives or dies right here. Because if it dies, the only way out, when we lose our vision and we give up on the big things we know we're supposed to do, we get prideful. We start looking at what we are doing. We start counting our pennies. Working up our resume. Man, I'm doing good at work. I've got this and that going on. And the result of that is we focus on the present. The present. Our present feelings, our present wants. You have not done that. You may have struggled with this at times, but you need to hear me today. I think about this journey all the time because I fight it every day. You have not given in to this. And this is the result. Just get ready, guys. This is the result. This is one of my life verses. Judas, not Iscariot, the other Judas, not the one that betrayed him. He said to Jesus, Lord, what then has happened that you're going to disclose yourself to us, the 12 disciples, and not to the whole world? The word there's cosmos, not to the whole cosmos. Jesus answered and said to him, if anyone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our abode with him. Which, the first time you read that, you're like, Jesus, why don't you just answer his question, dude? But he does answer the question. What Judas is asking is what I've asked a million times. It's what my neighbor asked me when he said, Johnny, why don't people in Uganda just figure it out? Why can't you just show a video and everybody's fixed? Because that's not how it works. Let me tell you how it works. Jesus says it. If you love me and obey me, I come to you, and the Father comes to you, and we make you our house. So that when you come in contact with other people around you, they're not coming in contact with a watered-down version of God. They're coming in contact with the living God, the God of love. And if you make that contact with somebody else, the chain reaction continues and continues and continues. And that's what I see when I look around this room. I see people who have chosen, and you might not even be all that crazy about faith and spiritual stuff. Look, I respect it, but you got to hear my heart right now, because you've gone outside of yourself and you have done this. You have become a vessel of the love of God. That is an amazing thing. And this is what that does. This is me standing in my sponsored child's hut in Tanzania. This is Ava. Her mother, Katarina's right here. She's 62 years old, which in Tanzania is like being 100. Okay? Ava's 10 years old in this picture. Now, today, she's 12. But in that picture, she's 10 years old. She used to walk 30 kilometers a day. A 10K round trip 3 times a day. Some of you have heard me tell this story once or twice before. But this is how I connect with what I'm doing. I didn't realize this because I don't take praise well, guys. I struggle with that big time. And I've been called out on it by some people I love lately. I have to recognize the fact that this bad haircut dude right here with his 6-year-old khakis is a house of the love of God. And that's what she's coming in contact. But check this out. You don't got to go step in these kids' huts to be that for them. You have collapsed the most awesome distance on the globe You have made something impossible possible. You have reached across the planet into the life of people who do not have the resources to do what they hunger to do. You've provided it for them. This is Ava's life. That stick in her hand, she's fighting off, animals, or, it's so tough for girls. It's the number one source of sex trafficking on the planet is the route to dirty water. Every $50 you raised, shut that down for one of those kids. It's a little boy. That's right. It's a little boy. Do I even need to break that picture down? Look what he's doing. He's filling up his water, and he's got a stream within 6 miles of his place, right? He's filling up his jerry can in the same water source with that horse is using. And this is a video of when I was in Uganda. And I asked these village leaders, I'm sorry there's no sound, but it's been that way. I asked them, has clean water made a difference in your life? Which is a dumb question to ask, by the way. Okay, you get nervous when you're there, all right? They all look at me like I was crazy, then they burst into applause. And then this one mother, I want to show her to you. There's a picture of her right here. This woman steps forward. She steps forward and she says, you want to know what difference it's made in our lives in the last 2 months? In the last 2 months, in 13 villages, not one new rape. Not one new case of malaria. Every one of our kids has been in school. And look at what I got to do with my time. And she had all the names of all the families in those 13 villages in this old school 11 by 17 green spreadsheet. She said, I know exactly who lost their land because poachers came through when their parents died of HIV/AIDS and took their land. I know exactly who's struggling with this, exactly who's struggling with that. And I said, like an idiot, I said, do you work for World Vision? Because I'm an American, and you only do stuff like that if you get paid. I mean, goodness gracious. She said, what else would I do? This is the dream of my heart. This is what you provide. This is why our water resources last 25 years. That's what we define as life. That's what that $50 goes for. Because you got superheroes like this one right here out there ending it. They're ready to go, guys. These leaders are the hardest working people you're ever going to meet in your life. They're ready to go. All they needed was for us to get their back. And that's Ava. She's got clean water today. And Rusty, I'm going to ask you to come here in a minute, man, with our fundraising total, because I'm at the end of my talk here. But I got, and I don't know what the total is, guys. I'm so nervous about this. But here's my word to you today. Finish the race. My homie crushed his goal about 2 weeks ago. Love this guy. Said to me, I'm good. Now all I got to do is race day. And I got real quiet, and I smiled, and I just said, you got 2 more weeks to inspire the snot out of everybody in your life. Let's do something with those 2 weeks. And he was like, he snapped out of a fog, and he said, yeah, and he raised his goal. My boy Sergio's raised his goal 3 times. Many of you have been doing that too. Finish the race. Tomorrow, my wife calls tomorrow the cherry on top. You're trained. Don't doubt your training. You are trained. You are ready. But let's finish the race. Let's not hold back. I'm going to keep fundraising pages open in another 2 weeks. Okay? So you got, and you can send out a celebration email or phone call. But Rusty, you with me? Where you at? You have raised. So my wildest dream was that next Wednesday, we would have raised $600,000. That was my wildest dream for this race. Right now in this room, you have raised $677,000.